live, we're live.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Lions Den podcast. Here to talk about everything Club Leon in English. Ligia has started today, so we'll definitely talk about everything Club Leon in Ligia and what that looks like. And obviously, we will start talking about the tragedy, the worst nightmare of any Club Leon fan regarding the Club World Cup. So feel free to join in the comments section. Let us know how you feel. Any thoughts, comments, concerns, anything that you guys want to talk about, drop it in the comments section and we'll definitely share it on screen to keep the conversation going. So, gentlemen, Carlos Louis, hot topic, Club World Cup official after FAS made the decision. Leon is excluded from the Club World Cup. How are we feeling?
Not good.
It
Not
sucks.
good.
It sucks. It's this, along with being demoted from Primera División and all the terrible things that have happened over the course of history with the club. This is up there with the worst moments in our club's history. Um, and I really don't think there's any two ways about it. I think it's a fact, and you're just left to ask yourself not only how did this happen, but how could this possibly have even come close to ever happening, let alone getting to the point where we are now, where it already happened, and we're just left asking ourselves all these questions. So many questions to ask. Um, beginning with who's to blame primarily for this epic failure of gestión del club. I mean, it's just who is principally responsible for this? Is it the ownership group? Is it Grupo Pachuca? Is it? I mean, who is it? Is it FIFA? Is it you know Liga MX? Is it Concacaf? Who's responsible for this? There's just more questions than we'll ever have answers for. And but asking those types of questions sort of makes us feel better about this situation. I guess it's better than just sitting on our hands and and screaming up into the heavens, why, how did this happen, what can we do, what will we ever be the same again, is supporting this club ever going to be the same again? I mean, there's a lot of existential questions about being a fan of this club that are raised because of a situation like this. This is as bad as anything that has ever happened uh, dentro del entorno of our team. I mean, I don't want to get all dramatic, but I mean, I don't think that's an overstatement. I really think that is the situation. And but at the same time, we've got a Ligia to play starting tomorrow. We have to move on from this
Yeah.
because the more time passes, after the Club World Cup is long finished, and obviously no Liga MX club is likely to win it. After all of that is passed, all of that is come and gone. This is going to be a memory. At some point, this will be a memory. Yes, it will be a dark spot, a blotch in the history of our club, but it will eventually be in the past. I mean, technically, it already is in the past. The final decision is made. There's nothing that can change it. It's done. What's done is done. We have to move forward. Um, but I mean, for right now, it still feels like part of our present, and it stings. Although I will say, for me personally, knowing this was always a possibility, it stings a little bit less than when the news first came out that FIFA wanted us out. That really, really stung. This, we spent all that time since that first nota came out. We spent all this time thinking about all the possible outcomes to this situation, and this is obviously the worst one. But it was always a possibility. I always considered it a possibility. It came to pass. That's what happened. So for me personally, it stings a little bit less. I don't know about you guys, but it sucks. But I'm ready to move on because we have no other choice. We still got a Liguilla to play. With the novena is in juego. The novena is still a possibility. We're 6 matches away from la novena, in spite of everything. We're in Liguilla Directa. It's not going to be easy, but the Liguilla is a new tournament. We have a shot. That's what I'm thinking about. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, this does sting less. I mean, when it first came out, all of us were in shock. And I don't know, it doesn't really shock me that much now that we've actually been eliminated. It almost feels like everything was planned, like the leaking of the LAFC America match that could potentially take place. Like, why would you even announce that before the resolution came out? Um, I mean, there's just so many coincidences that happened that make you go, wait a minute, like there's something deeper is happening here. It's not even about the rules anymore. Because if it were about the rules, you would have exercised them, or not exercised them. You would have, what's the word I'm looking for? You would have opened up the rule book when Pachuca was playing, after Leon was already qualified, and said, hey, look, if Pachuca happens to qualify, then someone's going to have to get kicked out. But that wasn't even the
Mm-hmm.
case. Like, none of that happened. And so now, last minute, you decide to exercise the rules, and we're the ones on the chopping block. Like, what? That doesn't even make sense. And it just sets up a weird, nasty, ugly, unjustifiable precedent by FIFA to take away something from a team that actually won it. It's FIFA basically saying you can win on the field, but we can still take this away from you. And that's just nasty. It's not
Yeah.
justified.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate because, FIFA has their own agenda, obviously. And like I had mentioned in the previous pod, what pissed me off the most, just from the beginning, even before the whole situation became apparent, was the invitation of Inter Miami because of Messi. That's what really pissed me off because it's like, well, what's the point if we, play the tournament, we won, o sea, lo ganamos en la cancha, and you just get invite because you're Messi and his team, and we get booted while we, put the work in on the field and won fairly. Um, and yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Carlos. I think it's just really frustrating. Like I had
Yes.
mentioned on our chat, like we won it first, so it's like to me, it's like, o sea, me choca que sea Pachuca. It's like, well, we won it first. Like, let us go. And I saw Louis' response to that. What they're saying. Obviously, we had gone already, but it just doesn't justify that. And they're just making stuff up as it comes to lo que les conviene. And lo que les conviene, American LAFC, o sea, un partido y ya. And how many did we have to go through? And how much did we like? It's just FIFA's a joke
They're a
with this
joke.
Club World Cup decision and just the whole tournament itself. 'Cause it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. And I mean, we can take this to, I don't know how dark we want to get here. We can take this to some really dark places in terms of conspiracy theories. Like, how long did they know, or how long were they expecting that we wouldn't have a shot to go to this? Like,
Mm,
has it been since Pachuca won
Yep.
the Conca Champions last year? Did they know since then?
yeah,
And they've just kind of been keeping it under wraps. And was the whole appeal that they prepared for TAS, was that just for show? Did they know that it wasn't
yeah,
going to happen? It wasn't going to go in our favor anyway? Was that just to keep up appearances and make sure they were doing everything? I mean, we can go even darker. Like Grupo Pachuca, they've had the opportunity to sell off one of their clubs, most likely Leon, but to sell off one of their clubs and avoid this entire problem for a long time. Were they just unwilling to part with one of their clubs and suffer the consequences at the expense of the fans? I mean, we can take this to some really, really, really dark places if we want to, and we'll never know. We'll never
yeah,
know the answers. So it's probably not even best to dwell on it. And obviously, being a fan of this club, any club really, but being a fan of this club that has had so much success throughout their history, despite all the setbacks that they've had over the course of that history. Obviously, being a fan of this club in particular goes well beyond whether we play in this mundialito or not. Um, but man, there's some dark places, some conspiracy theories we can certainly get into with all this. I mean, if we really, really want to go down a rabbit hole with
I
all
we'll have
this.
to
I
love
do
mean,
the
like an
these are the
after
things.
hours
conspiracy.
show. Like,
Yeah, like these are. But I mean, just spitballing. These are the things that come to mind when you're
yeah,
trying to piece together how something like this how we could have gotten to this point. You know.
I love me a good conspiracy. Like, to me, one of the best ones is like, obviously we've known. we've known that we've had to sell the team, and it was announced that we were trying to sell the team 51%. Like, how many times did we hear that over the past 6 months? Like, we need to
Hmm.
sell 51% of the team. I think even the team president came out and said, we're looking to sell 51% of the team. Doesn't happen. Maybe it was negligence on their part. Maybe they didn't think it was a big deal. Like, you know what? Let's just see what happens. We're not getting any good offers. We're not going to sell the team. There's no good offers on the table. Let's just see what happens. And then here comes some other teams, Central American and Mexican teams, sticking their head in the window, like, all right, these guys are letting their guard down. And then they go to FIFA and go, hey, look at this. This is what your rule book says. What are you going to do about it? I'm speaking about Alajuelense and obviously America. Um,
Which obviously at this point, let Alajuelense in and not America. That's how much I know to this point.
yeah. So basically, I'm
Well,
saying
no,
Senos.
Alajuelense, what was it all for? They were the reason well, I mean, at least on the surface, they were the reason we're in this mess in the first place. And they never had any shot whatsoever of participating in this Mundialito. Like,
I would
so
rather
what was it all
have them
for?
go. That's
That's
how
the
I
mad
mean,
I
I
am.
conspiracy,
I'd
guess,
though.
rather have them go instead of America. Because obviously the conspiracy, right, was about this y this fondo de inversión de Azcárraga and, that Chucho didn't want to and blah, blah, blah. And like, we literally can go into all these conspiracies because obviously stuff that's been said. Um, but it's just
Alajuel-
infuriating.
Alajuelense had zero chance to get into the Club World
Yeah.
Cup. So if you want to get into deep conspiracies, my conspiracy is like, who tipped off Alajuelense to make it seem like they're the ones who want to get in, but it's like these other guys are trying to get in. Like, focus the
it does
cameras
seem
on those guys.
fishy.
Focus the
Yeah.
cameras on those guys while we do all the dirty work over here.
See, that's one of
Just
the
a
if I want to know anything in the world, like, is I want to know what happened in that particular case. Like 50 years down, I'm like, look, the only secret I want to know is what happened, what was the real reason, what went on behind closed doors, like with Leon. Like we will be talking about this for years, like to come. I remember that we were gonna go to World Cup, we had James, and we got kicked out. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, just a quick aside. Nasty own goal by Monterrey to give
Uh-oh.
Toluca 1-0 lead. That was one of the worst own goals I've ever seen.
by who?
I don't know who knocked it in, but Sergio Ramos is not playing for whatever reason. He's up in the palco. So
Well,
it
he gets to
wasn't
choose
him.
where he wants to play.
Yeah.
But why
Arturo,
wouldn't you play in a Liga match? I don't know.
on
Whatever.
the chat, the same people who brought us glory and happiness also give us one of the darkest moments.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's what makes it so hard to reconcile. Would Leon even be in contention for being in a Club World Cup if it weren't for Los Martinez, if it weren't for Pachuca? Yeah.
And if only James could keep his mouth shut.
I don't know how much that had.
I
How much
support
that played a role.
James. Whatever he says, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I don't know how much that had to do with it either, but I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think
gonna
so
go out on a limb and say it had nothing to do with it. But
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything just went down after Louis brought up. I remember a couple podcasts ago, Louis was like, "Oh, it is weird enough that TUDN just signed the rights to the FIFA Club World Cup," and like the
Yeah.
very next day, like the announcement comes out that like, you guys can't get in now. Like there's a war going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll never have all the answers to everything, but I will say this: however they want to try to sell it to us as the reasoning that they kicked us out, it has nothing to do with sporting integrity. If they're trying to sell it as that is the least of their concerns. They're trying to say, oh no, you can't have two teams with the same owner because of sporting integrity. They weren't even thinking about that until Alajuelense brought it up, until Televisa brought it up, until all these people brought it up. That they weren't. They're trying to sell it to us that it has to do with no. We have to preserve the sporting integrity. It has everything to do with everything else except that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if this is such a big deal, this multipropiedad is such a big deal, then I want to see what happens now. From this point on, I want to see what happens now to Cholos, Querétaro, Puebla, Mazatlan, Santos, Atlas, and obviously León and Pachuca. What's going to happen? How is FIFA really going to come down on Liga MX for the multipropiedad? Are they going to do anything, or is it
100%.
just a one-time thing?
100%. I agree with that. I'm like, okay, so there's going to be a next page to this book of the multipropiedad in Mexico because exactly all the teams that you listed, Carlos, like this has been going on for a long time también. So I think I'm annoyed that like we get pinpointed because we get kicked out, but there's other teams, there's other grupos, Grupo Caliente, Olergi, obviously us. It's like, pues, and obviously look, shout out to Ivan, one of my best friends on the obviously Eagle Eye podcast. I'm sorry you're an America fan. That will be something that will separate us in that aspect. But you know, Televisa en America. Come on, like también ahí se ve.
There's
yeah.
no way. There's no way there isn't some form of juego sucio in that. There's just no way there isn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
way that's just some kind of coincidence. That doesn't that it's. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah, I mean, obviously America is the one that draws the audience and the eyes and the sales, the ticket sales. Like, that's the big big money maker. Like if you have a small team from Spain, like I don't know, Espanyol, and then you have Real Madrid, and you go, hey, there's something in the rule book that can potentially get Real Madrid in. You're gonna do everything in your power to get them in because they're the ones who make all the money. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Shout out to Ivan still in the chat. America didn't do anything. He said we didn't even sue or coffee. But hey, we don't know that, okay? We don't know that. He also said Tulane doesn't have full rights to the games, only a handful of games. They still have the right to a handful of games, period.
Yeah, and I bet you all of those are going to be the America games.
Big tinfoil hat energy. We didn't cause this. Yes, y'all did, Ivan. Come on. I love you, but come on.
Yeah,
It's
Even
too
you don't
many,
believe that.
too many dots, too
big,
many,
big trying to convince yourself of something. Energy. Yeah.
So okay, real talk then. Okay, America versus LAFC. Carlos, Louis, who would you prefer? You had to pick to go.
Man, I've been going back and forth on this, and I just, it's like it's Sophie's choice, you
Me?
know.
me personally, I'm going LAFC just because they came in second behind us. They lost against us, and so they're more deserving because they
Yeah.
were in the actual competition. They came in
Well,
second.
for the record,
point.
so was America. America was runner-up in the 2021 edition, which is taken into consideration for this Mundial. So I had forgotten that at first, and then I went back and looked, and I remembered, yes, the one that Monterrey won back in 2021, who was the runner-up, America. What I would have liked to see would have been like a round robin between the runners-up of all the editions of the Mundial. So America, LAFC, Columbus, and Pumas. Like have those four teams play a round robin, and may the best one get in. That would have been, I don't know, that would have sat right with me more than what they decided on ultimately.
Especially
Because they just arbitrarily
game.
decided. I mean, I know they're going to say whatever FIFA coefficient or whatever, but or CONCACAF ranking or whatever BS reason they're giving as to why those specific teams in particular. But yeah, I mean, how about those four? The last four runners up of the competition that you used to qualify for this tournament. If we can't be in it, we'll do it that way. But don't just pick two teams arbitrarily. I mean, Columbus fans have got to be super super livid too.
Exactly.
Pumas
Columbus
fans
too.
Pumas fans probably less so because they're just really bad. But like, yeah, why arbitrarily those two teams? And you're gonna give me a reason? No, it's not arbitrary. This. It was arbitrary because. And the arbitrary is because those are the teams that are the most rentable. Those are the teams that are going to draw the biggest crowd and make the most money and have the most publicity involved with it. I mean, that's the reason. Same reason that Inter Miami is in the competition without having won anything.
Period.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nada. Por eso me molesta más eso. But I think at this point, I would rather have LAFC también instead of America. That's how I feel.
Sorry, Ivan, but
sorry,
it's just
Ivan.
the truth, man. It's just the truth.
Yeah, it's just so shady. You know what I mean? It's like so shady. And, if America does go into the Club World Cup, I will be supporting the other Liga MX teams and not America. That's how I
Yeah, I
feel.
guess if I'm being strong-armed, I would also pick LAFC. I mean, I can't stand LAFC, but I do have some good friends who are in the LAFC entorno. Over the we played them in two different Conca Champions. I think we must have played them more than any other MLS club. Maybe, well, I guess yeah.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
followed by Seattle Sounders. We played them 3 times, one Conca Champions and one Leagues Cup. But we played LAFC more than any other MLS club, and so over the course of that time, I mean, I've made contacts in the community who I respect. So I guess I'd rather see them happier than America fan. I mean, I have contacts with America fans too, but I guess it's what you said, Carlos. Like they were the runners up when we got in.
Yeah.
And no matter what happens, they're going to remember that we beat them and they didn't earn it, and they're going to have to live with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, nobody earned it except us. Nobody.
Yep.
There's no other team that earned it except us. And if you don't give it to the team that earned it, like what's this about then? Like the whole sport is just dirty.
Yeah.
I mean, we already knew that, right? In essence of, but obviamente cuando te pasa a ti and your team, it's kind of like,
yeah,
dang, like what other shady stuff has there been going on that like under our noses? Across like, futbolero aspects in other leagues in other countries. Y se diga de los jugadores que arreglan partidos, la Liga de Expansión that came out and not so long ago in Mexico, and obviously that feminine player.
Oh, I heard about that.
That was banned 7 years. Like,
yeah.
Too much of that. It's just sad because it's like it's a beautiful sport, and for it to be manchado por estas cosas, it's infuriating. Because it's not what it once was. I mean, like any other sport, like boxing, like all that stuff, it's changed so much. ¿Qué más? I'm looking at Arturo. Let me see. What does America have to do in this matchup? Just give it to LAFC. They got subcampeón in that Conca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty sure everybody agrees.
Yes, although America again was subcampeón in one of the Concas that is taken into consideration for the Mundial, if we're being technical.
Gotcha.
Sauce Boy is in the chat.
Shouts
Hello.
Sauce Boy. What up, man?
What's up, gang? What's up? We're here pondering on our feelings. Ivan, nothing new. The world versus us. Don't play the victim card, Ivan. America is not the victim in this situation and will never be the victim. Okay. I said I love you, but no. No. ¿Cuál es la carta de víctima? Que América nunca ha sido la víctima.
Man, those America fans are something else, huh?
Yeah. Anything else, guys? I think. Well, I'm gonna talk about this one thing that obviously I think has a connection with the decision. But I saw that the ticket sales, for tomorrow's matchup, like there's still a lot of tickets. So I don't know if people maybe were waiting to hold up until, the decision and debating on going or not. But I am seeing, more tickets available to purchase.
Just one last thing on the Club World Cup before we move on. I really hope we get refunded for everything that we've already spent in terms of new players, in terms of James, in terms of the marketing, in terms of the publicity, in terms of putting our players' faces on like magazine covers and like a bunch of stuff. I hope we get refunded for all that stuff, like somehow, because it's, like I don't know. But I really hope we get a refund for that. Yeah.
It's sad.
Sorry, what was I didn't mean to cut you off. What was the?
Oh no. It's I think I saw a tweet about I think Club Leon's the name is still engraved somewhere. Is it on the trophy or something? Unless they're gonna do it. Me salió un tweet like at least we'll still have a memory that I'm seeing it on let's see. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
Like it's engraved somewhere, like on the trophy.
TNT. Yeah, TNT Sports México, el nombre de Club León se mantendrá grabado en el cetro del ganador del próximo. So in the actual trophy,
Yeah, because we actually won it.
I know.
It's gonna go down in the history books. Little kids in 70 years are gonna be like, so what happened? What happened here? Like, why didn't this team make it?
I literally wish someone down the line wrote up a whole book about this and like did some deep investigation and got down to it.
FIFA
You
gate.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. Oh yeah, no, about ticket sales, about maybe people are waiting. Obviously the people that had the Firabonos had the great promotion of renovando and getting really, discounted prices for Liguilla. I'm just wondering if maybe some people waited until after the decision to debate on buying tickets for the Liguilla or not.
Mm.
A ver cómo se ve mañana. Obviously, Louis won't be able to be there, but I guess we'll see how people
I
respond
just don't.
tomorrow.
I wouldn't. I mean, I'm sure you may. Well, you could be right that that's the thought process. That just seems like a dumb thought process to me. What changes about the Liguilla based on that decision? Officially, nothing. Nothing changes.
No, I
Like if
just
you
think
want to go
maybe
see your
some
team play, go see
people.
them play. If not, not.
Yeah, I think just some people
Yeah, yeah,
obviously
yeah.
carry
No,
that anger. They're like, "Oh, this is gonna
yeah,
show
yeah,
them."
yeah. Sure, sure. I just that is not that is just not a thought process that is comprehensible to me in any way. Because I'm just not that. That's not how I fan. And I don't want to tell people how to fan, but some people fan really stupidly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, prices are pretty insane.
Well, that's to keep out Cruz Azul fans as much as anything.
I was debating on going to that game. You know what?
You can, I can give
should
you a
go.
good rate on my tickets if you want.
Now I was like, look, like the end of the season, like on Turbo, no. Let's see what they have in quarterfinals, and then after that, I'll decide on going to a semifinal.
Tomorrow
Because-
could potentially be. Oh no, I was gonna say James' last game, but it's
James will
not
not be in
even.
the lineup tomorrow.
Yeah.
He won't be available tomorrow. So which makes me like wary of how we're gonna line up. Like, do we have Adonis fully back?
Supposedly
he's back. Yeah.
we do.
Because Belon has not been cutting it for me.
Yeah.
No, Adonis back, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see Guardado out there given free reign, because normally when they play together, it doesn't go that well.
Yeah.
But if they're not there to estorbarse, then maybe maybe some things could go well. We'll see.
Yeah. The only thing that bothers me about Guardado is he's just too slow to get back on defense. Like
Yeah.
if he pushes up a little too much, he just leaves a huge gap behind him, and like speedy players are just gonna run through him, and that's what scares me.
Yeah, I think when I had a conversation with Tom about Guardado, and I said like obviously speed wise he has declined, but for some reason I feel like this season in some moments I've seen him like look better than he did last season, hustle more out there and a bit more quicker.
Yeah.
But even then, like obviously, no James tomorrow. Okay, we'll have Guardado. Okay, well Nico Fonseca will be back too. And I'd probably throw in that'll be a big help on the recovery. And I mean, could we see Tadeo start?
Yes.
También?
I hope so.
Hopefully.
I hope so. I hope he's in there because it's a huge difference when he's not in there. Versus when he's in there. Yeah, when he's in there, he's a difference maker for sure.
Yeah.
The thing that bothers me is the right back position with Sebastian Santos.
I was literally going to talk about next topic.
Oh my God.
Unfortunately,
I don't know what happened to that kid.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to talk about that. Like, so let's talk about Sebastian Santos. Obviously, we know this kid has potential. We see good glimpses of him, but this season, se ha quedado atrás. So I don't know what I was going to ask you guys thoughts. I mean, what are we thinking? Does he start?
Caveat here. In Liguilla, you don't have to worry about getting the minutes for the Jóvenes anymore.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Santos in Liguilla at all.
Maybe off the bench, but
So Ivan Moreno
maybe off the
starts?
bench, but
absolutely.
Ivan Moreno, although I was seeing, reading, whatever, that Ivan Moreno was being contemplated as a temporary substitute in James's position, because obviously Ivan has played all over the field. He's been a contención, he's been a winger,
Mm.
he's been
Yeah.
a right back, he's been even a second striker at times. He's pretty much played all over the field, and he's very versatile. And at times, it seems like at times he's been the team's most valuable player, and other times he's been invisible. So he's kind of an enigma. But I did see that they were thinking about him possibly for starting in James's place. But we'll see. But if he does that, he would not be starting at right back. Maybe Avion, but I don't know. Avion hasn't had the best of seasons either, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Avion's a difficult one because I feel like a veces sí, a veces no. So it's like I feel like some games where he comes in, like he really hustles out there, like but otras veces like he just lets me down and I'm like, is it worth keeping Avion or should we start thinking about moving on?
I just think it's about where you put him on the field, because
Mm.
in that game against Pachuca in the regular season, he got absolutely killed. Remember, he was playing right back instead of Sebastian Santos. He got absolutely
Yes.
killed against
Yeah.
Idrisi, I think it was. They were just running through him. It was an avenue. But if you put him as like a winger, maybe maybe he could work. Yeah, maybe he could work. Maybe, yeah, somewhere in the midfield. But he's also another one of those players that isn't as fast as he used to be. I don't know. He just looks a little huskier now. As opposed to when he first came in with Nacho Ambriz in the, what is it, Guardianes 2020. He was slim. He was in shape, man. He was such a great player, such a good addition.
And he has had two injuries like back to back, so I think that's also what's held him back.
Yeah, but he still has potential. I still believe in him as long as he's in the right position.
So we have okay, so we're thinking Ivan Moreno. So obviously we saw Santos wasn't cutting it in that position. Neither is Avion. So Ivan Moreno. Any other like possible
Mm,
changes or thoughts about starting 11? I mean, okay, so we've known Berizzo has switched the goalies every game. What are you guys thinking about tomorrow? Who's playing tomorrow in goal?
I mean, I think it's gonna be Poncho.
think
He
so.
like he tries out Jimenez for spells, but then he seems to always go back to Poncho when it's an important match. I don't know. Well, I mean, Jimenez played against Cruz Azul and kept that match from being worse than it was.
Yep.
Mm,
Although, I mean, I'll say I don't think this is a hot take. I think before Nico Fonseca got sent off, I think we were going to win that game
Yep.
against Cruz Azul. I think we played against Cruz Azul pretty well. We played them
mm-hmm.
pretty well. I mean, they've been the darlings of this whole tournament. Yes, they finished in third place, but I think for many they are considered the favorites. That people consider them, especially because of their Conca Champions run, that they're probably in the best form. But I don't know. I went to that game. I wasn't scared of them at any point in that match until Nico Fonseca got sent off. When that happened,
Yeah.
everything changed. Before that, it wasn't a particularly pretty game, but we had it under control. We scored first. We were going to see the match out, and I think we can hang with Cruz Azul no matter who plays. Honestly, as long as Nico Fonseca doesn't get sent off again, or anybody gets sent off again, obviously that completely changes things. But 11v11, I am not scared of Cruz Azul. I'm putting that out there right now, especially playing at home first. Maybe they come out inspired. When interviewed, the players seem to be in good spirits. Everything seems to be positive, and they're saying we're going to go out there. Our respuesta to all of this nonsense that's going on is going to be our play on the
Yeah.
pitch on Thursday. That's what they've been saying. I think Ivan Moreno specifically said that.
Yeah.
Okay, put your money where your mouth is, but I would not be surprised at all if Leon goes out there tomorrow and gets a good result. Puts the pressure on Cruz Azul to get their own job done at home in La Vuelta. I would not be surprised at that at all. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that Leon, being a heavy underdog, got a good result, a big, a defining result at home. I'm thinking back to 2016 against Xolos. We We barely made it in. We needed everything to go right on the last day to
That
even
was
get into
crazy.
Liguilla.
Yeah.
And then we come out in the Ida against Cholos and blow them out of the water 3-0. I mean, I'm not expecting something like that to happen necessarily, but I could totally see us winning the game tomorrow and putting the pressure on Cruz Azul
Yeah.
in La Vuelta. I think we match up pretty well with them. At least 11v11, we match up pretty well with them.
China, this is going into prediction, but realistically, what would you be happy with in tomorrow's first leg? What would you be happy with
As a score?
Would I be
as a
happy with?
score?
I'd be
Mhm.
happy with a win of any kind, even if it's just like a 2 as a score. Well, no away goals. The score doesn't really matter to me. As long as we win by 1 goal, I'd be happy with that. Would I be ecstatic with that? No, I'd be ecstatic with a. There's no away goal rule, so I'd be ecstatic with a 2-goal win. I would be, floored and gaga and off the wall with a 3-goal win. I don't think that's going to happen, but I would be happy. Happy is the operative word here. I would be happy with a 1-goal win, whether it's a 1-0 or a 2-1, 3-2. I don't think it's going to be a 3-2, but maybe like a 2-1 or a 1-0. I'd be happy with that. I'd be satisfied, but not happy with a draw.
Yeah.
Satisfied with not losing, I guess. Is a better way of putting it.
Yeah. So many feelings.
Okay, what would you be upset with then? Because you already said happy, satisfied. What would you be? Yeah, like how bad of a loss would you be upset in the first leg?
A loss would be devastating, because that would mean you'd have to win the second leg by 2 goals, and I just don't know if I see that happening.
Yeah.
What about you, Carlos? What would you be happy with tomorrow's first leg?
I think a win. A win because it puts pressure on them. So a win of any kind. A draw, that's a win for them, because that means we have to go into their home turf and actually win.
Yeah.
And that's tough, doing it on the road. But I agree that we almost did it this last time, and I was confident that we were going to do it. If Fonseca didn't get red carded that game, we were, we were about to win. I can feel it too.
Yeah.
But I think we can. I think we can beat them. We just have to play as a team, and everyone has to be
golazo,
firing on all
Monterrey.
cylinders.
Wow.
A ver.
Who scored?
De Osa?
It was.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't. It happened so fast. I didn't see.
I think it was De Osa.
Liam X. It hasn't popped up yet.
I think it was De Osa.
Yeah. Oh, sí. Se lo
Ahorita
desviaron.
lo veo.
I think, right?
Is that yes? It
Yeah,
was
it was
De Osa.
Was it
Arturo in
deflected?
chat
Yeah, it looks like
said, "What an advantage for Cruz Azul! They're going to play a hurt Leon with no James." And then he also said, "The 2014 Cruz Azul versus Leon Liguilla was fire."
Yes, another example. Obviously, in that instance, the away goals rule helped us out.
I think,
and that will not be the case this time.
I think playing without James might be a blessing in disguise.
For one match, maybe that we will be harder to scout. We will be harder to
on the next game.
Any tape they have on us that they're watching will be useless, because they haven't seen us play without him. I mean, unless you want to go back to the Mazatlan match, but I mean that's not going to be a much help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those
like
guys
we're going to be tougher to scout, because as you've said so many times, Carlos, like the strategy they always use against us is make sure James is covered, and then no one else can do anything. But if James isn't on the field, what do you do?
Yeah. Play man to man. And we still have speed. We still have speed on the wings, and we still have speed in the midfield. I
mean, I do still think we have a better chance to win the tie with James playing leg 2. I'm not saying he should sit out the entire tie, but I think you're right. It could be we're gonna be tougher to coach against without him in this first leg.
Yeah.
I think I would be happy with. It's like two ends there. I think I would be happy with 1-0 for the reason of I need Leon to change their mentality when it comes to, oh, we scored first. Now, tenemos esa confianza and let's drop back, right? So I need them to switch that during the year. Because I'm like, what happens if we nos vamos con un 2-0, we go into Sunday, and then the first 10 minutes, like, we get scored on twice because we're
Yeah.
like a bit cocky and a bit like, oh, we're 2-0 up. Because that's happened many times this season that I need them to
I
freaking
agree.
switch that chip, you know?
I agree. I think we might be better served by a 1-goal win rather than a 2-goal win or more. I mean, obviously, if we win 5-0 or something, that's the ideal.
Yeah.
But
Ideal, yeah. I mean, also
but
it'd be like
a 1-goal win as opposed to a
3-0.
2-goal win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Arturo, I'm curious as to what you mean by hurt, because actually, health-wise, this looks to be as healthy as we've been, having as many
I
bodies
think you meant
available as we have in a
hurt,
while.
like mentally after that.
Emotionally,
Yeah,
emotionally
emotionally.
hurt.
That's
Yeah,
what I
I
think he
could see
means.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, dang, we haven't even talked about that. Like, el golpe anémico, like that this is gonna have on the team, because it's not a mystery.
No, but
It's
I
not
mean,
a
we did
mystery
touch
to
on it a little
anyone.
bit.
But it's
Yeah.
not a mystery to anyone that, like, as soon as the news first came out, like, this team was on a decline. Ever since then,
Yeah, but I think they see a new opportunity in Liguilla, that has nothing to do with any of that. And just like us, I mean, I think this stings less than when they first got the news. When they first got the news, it was like a gut punch. Now it's like they've had time to prepare for whatever outcome came upon them. And I think, I don't know, I just have a feeling it's not going to play as much of a role as it did down the stretch in the season.
yeah.
I think
hope so.
I think someone, maybe a couple players, a couple of big, players like Borsi Barreiro, I could see Cheve, like someone else, like, maybe they had a huddle after the decision and they were kind of like, okay, guys, like this happened, like we need to try and turn the page and focus on
Yeah.
the Liguilla. And obviously, I think for some players it might be easier, and obviously for others it might be a bit harder. Porque es una ilusión, it's like going to a Club World Cup and playing against, Chelsea and all this stuff, and y de repente,
Yeah. Something I wanted to bring up
For
is
sure.
like this past week. I don't know if you guys saw it, but you guys obviously we follow Romo. He posted a video where he interviewed Chava Reyes, and Chava Reyes was saying that throughout this whole like losing streak that we had, there were some pretty hard words, pretty harsh words and tempers in the locker room by like certain players, saying like,
James.
hey, you know what, los equipos grandes, like we also go through these type of things, but it's about how we respond. And people were like calling each other out. So like it's different. It's different with these players that we've signed. Like it's not like, people actually point fingers now and say, hey, you're not doing your job. We expect more out of you. People call each other out, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw it, but he tweeted it. If you guys want to,
I didn't.
have a
I need to
look,
go
it's
see
on-
it.
it's on his
I think
page.
when I heard you say that, I'm like, I could see James like just because I think it was a game against the game against Necaxa that he left off the pitch like super pissed and like threw a chair, and I'm like, oh, I would not want to be in the dressing room
Yeah.
with an angry James, and I don't know what happens.
Yeah, but I mean, we've been waiting for that kind of leader for years, because for a long time we didn't have that kind of leader. We didn't have the vocal leader who wore the captain's armband. Like we gave it to Desillo, but Desillo was kind of like a tímido type. He was like quiet. He wouldn't even like really talk to
They're
the
just like
referee.
so nice all the
Yeah,
time,
he's
como
super
que le faltaba
nice.
like
Yeah, and then who
como
else
like
wore
la
it?
garra del perro, Romero, like eso es lo que me gusta, o sea, así
Yeah.
perro, like the attitude.
Yeah, for real.
Absolutely.
But well, Arturo Louis said yes, sir, Louis. Forgot what you asked him.
I think
Yeah,
he's
the mental.
why
Oh, yeah.
in the anímico, the emotional sense.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
So let's see. I just want to pick you guys with. I think we were talking this before the pod. So Monterrey, Toluca. Carlos, you said Toluca también, What guy did?
Yes, I think Toluca's gonna. Monterrey is just a bunch of pecho frios, like
Mm.
jugadores agrandados, like a bunch of ego, too many egos on that team. Like
It's been a
what
tough
happened to
situation.
their star player Canales? Does he not play no more or something?
He is. He
Yeah,
had
he's
a
played.
Yeah, he played last game. He had an incident where I think it was between him and the Michelis, a disagreement, and then Canales like kicked a glass
Yeah,
door
yeah,
and it broke and he got cut and then he couldn't play and no creas. I mean, I think it's a heavy dressing room. Obviously you have Ramos, you have Canales, you have Oliver, you have all these like Spanish like men who I think are like very united, very together, and you know maybe they have a hand on what goes on
yeah,
in the dressing room.
yeah.
So, but I think Toluca is a really good contender, so I'm going for Toluca against to win and move on.
Same. Louis got Monterrey.
Luis got
I think I
Monterrey.
do. I think I do. I think I do.
Hey, wait.
Monterrey.
I was gonna say whatever happened to
Monterrey. They always
to
screw up
the
in what?
whatever happened to our predictions and all that. Have you been keeping track, Adi?
Somewhere in my thing, anyway.
La quiniela.
I'll see if I can find it in my notebook and send y'all a picture of como vamos. I
Should we
think
should we
some
do
of
a new
them
one for
like
the playoffs?
I say we should do a new one for the playoffs.
Okay, we should start today. Like obviously there's already a game going on, so like whatever.
A ver, Arturo, if you're listening, let us know what you think. Monterrey or Toluca? Okay, next game, Pachuca and America. Carlos, what do you think?
Wait, who is it? Pachuca and who?
America,
America.
Pachuca. I'm going Pachuca on that one.
Pachuca.
Logically,
Louis?
and obviously because I don't like America.
Mm, depends. If Pachuca gets a good result at home, I could see them going through. I think most likely is probably America, but no, Pachuca can totally. I mean that's a pretty even tie, I would say.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay, tomorrow, Necaxa Tigres. What do you think, Carlos? Louis?
Also
This
going
one's
to
a little
depend
closer.
on how well Necaxa plays at home. If they go in there and they ball out, I mean, I think they could make it tough for Tigres. I know Tigres, they were just in the semifinal in Conca and all that, but this version of Tigres, I've never really believed in them this entire season.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Necaxa on that one.
Really? You know
Mhm.
what? Me too.
Hey,
Me
look,
too.
Necaxa has Gambindo, Palavecino, Paradela. Yeah, it's a good tridente there. And Tigres obviously is reverting back to Caferretti style
Yeah.
under Guido Pizarro. So could be
And they have
effective, but
Larca. They have Larca. I want to see Larca have a nice playoff run.
I'm going with Necaxa against Tigres.
Who's the other?
Us.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it,
Man,
except for us.
I'm
Yeah.
tripping. I'm tripping. Wait. So, Kari, you said for Pachuca America, who did you say?
Pachuca.
Okay. I'm writing this down too. So we have two
Cool.
papers.
And then Necaxa Tigres, I said Necaxa.
I said
Louis.
Necaxa.
I'll say
Carlos
Necaxa.
Dang. We're going against American Tigres. Interesting.
Cool.
Let's see. Anything else, guys?
We'll do this again in the next round to see
Yes.
who's closer.
I mean, we talked about that.
Yeah. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, I'm just going back to the Cobra Cup, but what's going to happen with the jerseys for that?
Ooh.
Something tells me they haven't been produced yet.
You don't think so?
No.
you guys think they might drop one just to like commemorate our actual qualification and like even though we didn't make it, maybe not a jersey but like a shirt?
No, I think
No?
that would just pour salt in the wounds of the fans.
Yeah. Dang it, man.
Sad times, guys. Sad times.
Oh,
See, the thing I always think, I'm like, man, like this is what it is to be a Leon fan. You know what I mean? Like this is like the pain. This is like lo que nos pasa. O sea, it's like, and then like I would not want to be an America fan. I would not want to be a Tigres fan. I would not. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
this is why I am a fan of Leon en las buenas y en las malas y en las muy malas at this point.
But think about this: we're about to start a liguilla where everything's a clean slate, and you know, just think how quickly this devastating moment could turn into pure
Yeah.
joy. You know, I mean, that's how fickle and how quickly things change in our league.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Well, guys, I think that is it. After Arturo already gave you his predictions, we
I
have
know, I
at
wrote
least
them
another
down, too.
person.
Yeah, I
Cool.
wrote them down
We have
too.
we have four of
Yeah.
us. But yeah, so game tomorrow and back on Sunday, and then obviously we'll see what happens. Hopefully things go our way, and if not, pues ni modo, looking ahead of the next season if that comes to it, and if not, we'll keep on fighting hasta que.
Yeah. I mean, I hope this is a storybook ending.
That would be nice.
Because obviously it's Guardado's last season
Mm.
ever as a football player, and could be James's last, maybe two. So
No,
we don't
Carlos,
like to
he's
believe it.
not leaving. He's
We don't
not
like to
leaving.
believe it, but maybe.
No.
Who else is playing? Their last season. Poncho Blanco.
Nah, he'll hold on.
Oh, hold on. Who else
Yeah,
is
he'll
here?
hold on.
How long is Rigoni here?
I could
Was
see
he
him
alone
moving on.
for a
I don't
year?
think
Is it 1
Or no?
year?
I don't think his role with the team is what he expected it to be. So I could see
Yeah.
him moving on.
Yeah, me too.
Mm,
I can see that.
yeah.
Carlos, he's not leaving.
I hope.
Te
not.
compro una cerveza if that happens, but he's not
Ooh.
leaving.
Oh man.
He's not leaving. He has Leagues Cup.
You just
Coming up.
reminded me of
What?
me of our good friend Javier. He always
Aw.
used to say, he always used to bet me beers.
Yeah.
He owed me so many beers, man. Javier's-
Yeah. Javi would be so devastated with this decision. He would probably like go out to drink this and be pissed about, the last decision.
Yeah. Oh man.
No, Javi, we miss you, buddy.
Did we do prediction? Oh no.
No,
For
I
our
mean,
tie, we did not.
no, because I think I had asked about like what would you guys be happy with, and
Yeah.
it was a
So
mix
no-
of like
No predictions then?
It's up to y'all. What do y'all think? It's hard because if we only do one leg, and obviously,
That's true. Oh, we could do both.
okay, go for it then. First leg, Carlos.
First leg. We're gonna come out solid. Damn, they have good firepower though, man. So they might sneak one in, but I think we'll get out of there with a 2-1 win.
First leg.
2-1. First leg. Second leg. Second leg. 2-2. That still puts us through, right? 2-2.
Yes.
Yeah, 2-2. Second leg. So it's gonna be a partidazo over there. Yeah, it's gonna be a partidazo over there.
Do Louis?
You know what? I'll go with a 1-0 win
Okay.
in tomorrow, and a
Mhm.
1-1 draw on Sunday.
Okay.
1-0 and 1-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with a 2-0 tomorrow and a 1-1 Sunday.
Wow. Not bad.
Yeah. Come on, soccer gods, just help us. Help us
Please.
recover from this.
Please.
Give us this one. Get us to a semifinal, and then we'll see what happens.
No, we'll see what happens. Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. Okay, I think that is it, guys. Thank you so much for everybody that joined us in the chat. Sauce Boy, thanks for stopping by. Arturo, thank you for your predictions. And shout out to my really, really good friend Ivan for the Guy podcast. Yeah, not happy with that situation, but we'll deal with it. But yeah, guys, so make sure you watch Liguilla. Any other games that interest you, make sure you watch the games. And tomorrow, first leg in León and El Glorioso, and then back Sunday, and then we'll see. I mean, if we get kicked out, we'll probably just think about doing a closing out podcast of the season, and if not, we'll keep going. So that's about it. So thank you guys so much. Hope you watch the games, and we'll be back either happy or sad next week on another episode
Sadder.
of Lions Den Podcast. Or sadder. Bye, guys.